Let's get started. We will start setting up Appwrite. Search Appwrite, and you can click on their official site. Then click the sign up button located at the top right corner of the page. Once on the sign up page, just fill out the form fields and click sign up. You also have the option to sign up using your GitHub account by clicking on the button sign up with GitHub. After signing up, you will see this page that says join our cloud hackathon. So depending on when you've watched this video, but to give you guys a context, there was a recent Appwrite hackathon that ended on June 15. And Appwrite may continue to hold hackathons in the future, so if you're interested, you can stay up to date by visiting Appwrite's website and following their social media accounts. Let's just click the button, go to console. And since it's our first time accessing the Appwrite console, we will immediately be prompted to create a project. So go ahead and enter the name of your Appwrite project. So I'm going to name mine as chipIn video content. We don't have to worry about project ID for now, so go ahead and click create project. And welcome to the Appwrite console. This is where you will manage and monitor your Appwrite projects, APIs, and various services. The top bar consists of an Appwrite logo that when you click, you will be routed to the projects page to view all your Appwrite projects. This breadcrumb trail is here to help you navigate. The feedback and support button allows you to share your feedback or seek assistance with any issues you may be experiencing. Simply click on the button to access the necessary resources. And the last thing on our top bar is our account dropdown. Here we will see the option to view your personal projects, add a new organization if you have one, view your account, and the option to sign out. You will also have the option to toggle between light and night modes, or let your system automatically toggle for you. This Claim Your Cloud Card button will route you to the Cloud Beta Card page. So this is the Cloud Beta Card. It's a personalized card with animation and interactivity to give the whole experience of joining Appwrite a special feel. So feel free to play around with it and share it with others. Now, we are back in the Appwrite console and are currently on the page where we can view the list of our Appwrite projects. In our case, we only have one, so proceed with clicking our first Appwrite project. On the side navigation bar, we can see the overview, auth, databases, functions, and storage sections. We'll skip the overview section for now because we first need to create a platform. More into that later. The auth section is about managing user authentication and authorization. In this section, we have 5 tabs. The Users tab is where you can manage the users that have access to your application. The Teams tab allows you to manage teams with access to different resources and functionality in your application. The Usage tab is for tracking the performance and usage of your Appwrite application and gaining insights into how your users are using your app. The Security tab is where you can manage and configure security settings for your application, such as limiting the number of new users, setting a session length, and specifying the maximum number of active sessions per user. And lastly, in the Settings tab, you can configure the authentication methods available for your application. You can choose from various authentication methods like email or password, phone, magic URL, and OAuth 2 providers like Google, GitHub, Facebook, and more. Think of the Databases section in the Appwrite console as a virtual filing cabinet for your app. It allows you to create and manage different collections, which are like labeled folders, where you can store and organize your data neatly. So just like a filing cabinet helps you keep your physical documents in order, the Databases section helps you store and organize your app's data effectively. The Usage tab includes details about the database usage, and also insights into how the database is performing. We will create our database later in this video. To know more about this section, click the Documentation button. The Appwrite database documentation provides information on Appwrite's database features and functionality. You can see the Documentation button with other sections in this console. This is great because when you're unfamiliar with a particular feature, at least you have a resource to go into. That's it with the Databases section. How about the Functions section? So think of the Functions section in the Appwrite console as a way to add special features and custom capabilities to your app. You can write your code in various programming languages that interact with Appwrite's database, storage, and authentication services. So you know the drill. If you want to learn more about the feature, just click on the Documentation button. And last but not the least, here we have the Storage section. The Storage section in the Appwrite console allows you to manage and store files for your app. This includes uploading files, creating and managing buckets, which are like folders for your files, and setting permissions for who can access each file. The storage service is one of the many services offered by Appwrite, and is designed to help you easily add file management capabilities to your app without having to build it from scratch. Since we've already created an Appwrite project, let's create a Flutter project now. Open the command palette, type in Flutter new project. Select application, then select a folder to create the project in. And then name your project. After that, click enter. Wait for the project to be created. You will see a message prompt that the project has been completed. Currently, there's a pre-built code available for new developers to quickly run the app. However, let's not focus on that at the moment. After creating our Flutter project, head over to the pubspec YAML file because we will add the Appwrite dependency to our Flutter project. So by adding Appwrite as a dependency to our Flutter project, we can easily add important features like authentication, database management, and file storage to our app without needing extra backend development. So these are the dependencies we will add throughout our project. So please pause the video so that you'll have the time to copy. There's a duplicate dependency here, so we'll delete it. Once done, save the file, and Flutter will process all the dependencies for you. Great! We have now added Appwrite as a dependency to our Flutter project. Let's now go back to our Appwrite console and we will add our platforms. Since we're building a Flutter app, we will choose the Flutter app option. We are now in the process of registering our Flutter project that we just recently created. Here, you'll be asked to choose a target platform. This process is essential because it tells Appwrite which specific platforms your app will be built for and where it will be deployed. The name field is simply the name of your app that you want it to appear on your Appwrite dashboard. The package name is the unique identifier of your app. Choosing a unique package name ensures your app can be correctly identified on different devices and platforms. But for now, we're going to use a system-generated package name. So let's choose the iOS platform for now. Let's put a name. And to view the package name, go back to your Flutter project. Right-click on the iOS folder and select Open in Xcode. After the Xcode is open, click the runner and select the Signing in Capabilities tab. Here, you'll see the bundle ID. Copy this and paste it into the package name field in the Appwrite console. Once all is done, click the Next button twice, and then click the Take Me to Dashboard button. Awesome! Now you can see that in the Overview section, there are several pieces of information. This information will give you an overview of how your Appwrite project is performing. We have just added a platform for iOS, and for Android developers who are watching, let's create a platform for Android. Return to your Flutter project and open the command palette to get the package name. Then remove the greater than symbol and type in build.gradle. Choose the second option and scroll down until you see the application keyword. Copy the ID and paste it to the package name in the Appwrite console. In the same drill, click Next, Next, and take me to my dashboard. Great! Now you have two platforms created, which means your app will be functional for iOS and Android. At this point, we will do a little bit of coding. We will now programmatically connect our Appwrite project to our Flutter project. In the lib folder, add a new folder called Appwrite. And this is the place where we're going to put our code for things that are Appwrite related. Inside the Appwrite folder, let's add two new Dart files called Appwrite Constants and Appwrite Services. So the purpose of the Appwrite constant Dart file is to store fixed values or information from the Appwrite console that we can use throughout our project. That's why it's called constants. Now on the other hand, the Appwrite service Dart file is where we communicate with Appwrite. More into that later. Let's go ahead and start writing our code in the Appwrite constants Dart file. So let's go back to the Appwrite console. Click on the settings and copy the values in the project ID field and the API endpoint field. Then paste them here. Now we can use the values of the API endpoint and project ID by calling them by the variable name instead of the value they carry. Next up, the Appwrite service Dart file. This is our code so far in the Appwrite service start file. First, we must import the Appwrite package so that Flutter will recognize some of the code from the Appwrite SDK. My code is based on the Appwrite docs for initializing the Appwrite SDK. Our code is essentially a simplified and encapsulated version of the code provided in the Appwrite documentation for initializing the SDK. In the Appwrite documentation code, the client object is created directly and its properties are set using method chaining. The endpoint and project ID values are hard-coded within the setEndpoint and setProject methods. On the other hand, in our code, we've created a service called Appwrite Service. It provides a method called getClient that returns a configured client object. Configured because the endpoint and project ID values are obtained from the Appwrite constants file, which acts as a centralized location for storing these values. So by using the Appwrite service and Appwrite constants, we can easily manage and reuse the endpoint and project ID throughout our application. This makes the Appwrite configuration easier to maintain, reuse, and update. On the next video, we'll start creating our first feature, which is authentication. I'll see you on the next one.